2017, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, announced the launch of the nation's futuristic and fully automated business zone, NEOM. This high-tech business hub, to be located in the Tabuk province in the northwestern part of Saudi Arabia along the Red Sea coast. More than 300,000 square meters will be dedicated to commercial areas, providing employment for an estimated 20,000 people. Saudi Arabia shocked the entire world with this line. Saudi's mega engineering project will be powered by clean energy. Without cars in the streets, will have no streets or zero carbon emissions. NEOM is a combination of the Greek word neo, new, and M, both the first letter of the Arab word Mustakbal, the future, and of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The project is being largely bankrolled by the Public Investment Fund, which invests funds on behalf of the government of Saudi Arabia. The Saudi development company established to create NEOM, which is led by Chief Executive Officer Nathmi Al-Masr, claims the fund is contributing $500 billion to the scheme. It forms part of the Saudi Vision 2030 plan to diversify the country's economy in order to reduce its dependence on oil. Situated in the kingdom's northwest region, NEOM is designed to house 9 million people and will feature many mega-projects, including the Line, Sindala, and Oxagon. Shopping centers, housing complexes, public parks, pedestrian areas, playgrounds, schools, and workplaces will be located inside this massive megacity, surrounded on both sides by tall mirror walls. The city is intended to accommodate its 9 million people on just 34 square km, a gravity-defying 250,000 people per square km. For comparison, London has the same number of occupants spread over 1,500 square km, which represents 5,725 people per square km. Surprisingly, there is a documented precedent for NEOM, though it is not one that its planners make much noise about. In 1979, Chinese ruler Deng Xiaoping announced that a fishing village close to the Hong Kong border would become a special enterprise zone, with its own rules and currency. That village is now Shenzhen, home to 12 million people, and after Silicon Valley, the world's most significant powerhouse for the digital economy. Like Shenzhen in the early days, bin Salman wants NEOM to have its own laws and tax regime. The futuristic city will have flying cabs to avoid carbon emissions. However, doorstep pickup and delivery will be available. In addition to this, a high-speed train with a 20-minute end-to-end transit time will be accessible within a 5-minute walk. Only a handful of architecture studios have been officially announced as designers of the NEOM project. US studio Acom is listed as a partner on the NEOM website. The developer of NEOM revealed that UK studio Zaha Hadid Architects, Dutch practice UN Studio, US studio ADAS, German studio Lava, and Australian studio Bureau Proberts are working on the design of the Trojana ski resort. Dutch studio Mecanu also confirmed to DAZN that they were working on Trojana. Italian superyacht and architecture studio Luca Dini Design and Architecture has been announced as the designer of the Sindala resort. Numerous other studios have been connected to NEOM, with multiple studios named within an exhibition of the line in Riyadh. However, the exhibition did not make clear the extent of involvement of the studios named, and several told DAZN that they are no longer working on the project. US studio Morphosis has long been rumored to be the lead architect of the line and was included in the exhibition. Its founder Tom Main appeared to confirm this at a talk last month, in which he stated he was working on a city that he described as a big planning thing in Saudi Arabia that I can't talk about. So Mohammed bin Salman wants to project himself as a liberal leader within the conservative royal family in Saudi Arabia. Ali Dogan, a research fellow at the Leibniz Zentrum Moderner Orient Institute, told CNBC in an interview, NEOM is a mega project seen in Saudi Arabia and the young Saudi population as part of this liberalization process. It's less a city and more a single building, the continuous double file of skyscrapers, squeezed like giant cake icing in the Saudi desert, will face each other across a space just a little wider than the Champs-Élysées. The fully grown trees shown in the renderings at the bottom of a narrow canyon 500 meters deep, which would get no more than 15 minutes of sunlight a day, are clearly impossible. This world will supposedly contain everything it needs to sustain itself: sports stadia, universities, hundreds of schools, tens of thousands of shops, millions of homes, and enough farms to feed its people. Less information is available on the number of sewage farms that will be needed to dispose of their effluent. Those behind the project say NEOM will be a regional powerhouse in water production and storage, anchored on water desalination. High-tech, interoperable, modular systems will attract water-related research companies and startups to drive innovation and lead in all sectors of the water industry. NEOM's water distribution network will be completely connected through advanced infrastructure. This will ensure minimal water loss, putting NEOM at the forefront of water technology. Our game-changing desalination technology is 100% carbon neutral and entirely sustainable, said David Revley, Chief Executive of Solar Water. In NEOM, we have found a partner who has a strong vision of what a new future looks like in harmony with nature. The line will have a mirror facade, which will allow even its footprint to blend with nature. Speaking at the launch of the line in July, Prince Mohammed emphasized the need to address mounting pressure on urban spaces and find solutions for a rapidly expanding global population. The line will be the first city in the world to be powered by renewable energy, including wind, solar, and hydrogen. By 2050, commute durations will double. By 2050, 1 billion people will have to relocate due to rising carbon dioxide emissions and sea levels, he said. He said that 90% of people breathed polluted air. The line will also be the world's first zero-gravity vertical city. Recent drone footage of the line, released by OT Sky Drone Company, has revealed that construction on the mega project has started, with excavators seen digging a wide trench in the desert. The Crown Prince had said in July that NEOM would be partly financed through a flotation expected in 2024. The city's first phase is set to cost 1.2 trillion rials, half of which will come from the kingdom's sovereign wealth fund, the Public Investment Fund. The economic zone that is eventually set to house 9 million people is expected to have a capacity of 450,000 by 2026 and 1.5 to 2 million by 2030, he said. It will eventually house 9 million people by 2045. Based on the video, NEOM calls Cinderella its luxury destination, dotted with arching and sloping architecture that defines the typical standards of opulence in daily living, and what might seem to be private clubhouses with members-only access. Trojena gets the go-to destination for mountain and dryland excursions. Oxagon, the fourth city, poses as the center for advanced studies, the probable candidate of NEOM to further drive their research on only using energy sources from solar, wind, and hydrogen. Bin Salman's dream city has its roots in film design and Imagineering as much as in architecture. In this, and in its assembly of multiple zones within the overall boundaries of the site, it is much like a theme park. Here the Saudi prince is following more closely in Walt Disney's steps than he perhaps realizes. Shortly before his death in 1966, Disney was working on Epcot, an experimental prototype community of tomorrow, on hundreds of acres of Florida land he had bought up through a series of anonymous companies. Only a fragment was realized. The contemporary resort hotel designed by Welton Beckett, where monorails have glided into the central atrium and whisked visitors to the theme park ever since 1971, is like a miniature-scale model of the line. The most likely outcome of the efforts of Bin Salman's diggers in the desert is a scattering of monumental fragments, partly occupied, and made to operate in makeshift ways, rather than being fully completed. William Gibson once memorably described Singapore as Disneyland with the death penalty. He might have been thinking of NEOM. So that's it. Please like, share, and comment your thoughts below if you like this video. Remember to subscribe to see our next video. Stay safe, and we will be back soon with another video.